My name's John Talbot. I play the character of Todd in Ghost Sight.
And my name is Sharissa Campbell, and I play Lillian.
Well, so we have some cards. I've got some questions for you.
Me too.
I don't know what I'm asking you yet, but this is going to be fun.
I don't know what I'm asking you either.
Okay, so the story's about a lot of characters, but it's all started with Lillian. So why do you think that is? And how have you felt about Lillian's journey?
Ooh, that's a really tough question. I really feel like Lillian has grown so much over these past 3 years, from being in such a dark place in the beginning to, well, she kind of ends up in a dark place in the end.
Yeah.
But she has found happiness in the darkness. I'm not sure why.
Happiness, really? Okay.
Well, happiness with Todd.
Okay, interesting. In a weird, sort of tortured way. We'll see.
Anyway,
yeah, you'll have to watch it and see why that is. But yeah.
I don't really know.
See if you think she's crazy or not.
I don't know why it started with Lillian, but I feel like she was very much a keystone into the progression of the story and bringing in kind of some of the more heartfelt moments. And kind of introducing you and Xander into the story.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So, what was one of your favorite days on set, and why that day?
So I know this is going to be super cliche, but the day that we went to the Demon Portal set and shot all the fight scenes and all of that for that big finale. That was super fun because
was a fun day.
There was a lot of preparation that went into that. There was, we had choreographed it and worked together a lot to make sure it was safe and looked really, really good. And I just felt in the zone that day. Probably because I'm a kind of a physical person, like physical actor, and that kind of like when I'm in motion doing things, I struggle with like just straight character reaction faces to events. Like if I'm doing something as an actor, I'm more able to feel that. And so that day, which is very action and very motion oriented, fast paced as far as what the characters are doing, I'm able to get more into the character's mindset. So like that was a little bit easier. I was able to kind of feel what Todd would do and how he'd react, and what kind of fighting style or things that he would do. So and the director and our director and our stunt coordinator, the guy that Colby,
he was amazing, huh?
Yeah, the choreography was great. So I was just really, really excited to get all that done.
That was a great day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, how does it feel coming to the end of an era and saying goodbye to Lillian in the films?
I definitely feel really sad about it. I had a lot of fun playing Lillian. I really appreciated kind of getting to bring out my sassy side for Lillian. I feel like I don't get to explore that side of myself a lot.
Okay.
Though some people would beg to differ.
Yeah.
But I really loved just kind of exploring the different emotions that she went through when she, when Todd was hurt or when they were broken up, and kind of feeling that, like, them coming together.
Yeah.
So I feel like I got to just explore a wide range of emotions, but I'm definitely sad that it's over. I had so much fun filming and doing the makeup and just being with the whole crew. It was just a blast. So sad it's over, but glad it happened.
Yeah, actually, something that you said actually took me back to, like, that kind of pertains to the last question about one of my favorite days on set. Mm-hmm. It was when we were filming the last scene for Into the Dark, which, like, we're showing off, facing off with Cethrius, and like he's, you're being held by Picus and all of that, and I'm like, I'm frozen by Cethreus, and his magic is holding me back, and I'm powerless. And I remember I was feeling such rage, like I felt this like overpowering, like I was almost like literally seeing red.
Yeah.
And we like had to do a couple different takes, and I was able to like tap into that again over and over again. But as soon as we cut, I was able to, it would just like disappear and it left. And it was actually such like a really therapeutic experience that like I could just take on an emotion and then let it go.
Yeah.
As soon as the camera stopped rolling, it was a different kind of favorite, but that's probably right up there with the fight scene in my favorite day on set.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. Do you have another question for me?
I do have another question for you. So, what is something you will miss about playing Todd?
Honestly, I love the character because I really relate to him. I feel like Ethan, when he was writing the story and everything, he kind of did a good job of picking who he picked as like writing his characters and casting people that fit the characters. And like we always joke that like I am Todd.
Right.
So I'm gonna miss that because it's acting out and kind of figuring out how this fictional character would react to certain situations. It also kind of puts a lens on how I would react to those situations. So that's really awesome and useful and therapeutic for me as a person, just because therapy's expensive.
Yes, yes it is.
But also just like interacting with people, like going to different locations, going to Ethan's parents' house to film, going up into the mountains to film several times. They were all just super fun, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I remember when Ethan first asked me to be Lillian, I was kind of shocked because he had put out a notice like, hey, I'm doing this filming project, who wants to be in it? And I was like, oh, I don't know, and then he asked me to be in it. I was like, really? Like, you want me? So, yeah, it was really fun. Mm-hmm. Do you have another question for me?
I do. So, where do you see Lillian's story going next? So I'll start with that. Where do you see it going next?
Well, I think for sure she would escape Cethreus. I'm not sure how she would do it, but she's a clever girl. And I definitely think that she could figure her way out of Cethreus's grasp.
Okay, so what would you like to see? We don't know what Ethan's going to do in the comics, or Jessica is going to do in the comics with that story, but what would you like to see in how that goes down?
I would like to see Lillian and Todd kind of get their happy ending. I'd like to see them together, even if they don't end up together romantically. I want them to have that friendship that nothing could ever break that. And I don't know where else I would see that going. Probably on many other adventures, trying to defeat Cethreus or any other person that comes along, the Red Hand. But I would love to see more adventures for Lillian.
That'd be awesome. Hey, you have any questions?
I do. I have one last question for you, and it is, how do you feel Todd has changed and progressed over the course of these 3 films?
So that is an interesting question because I feel like I kind of relate to Todd in a lot of ways, and I think that his arc, at least like his emotional arc, mirrors a lot of my own in the last over the course of the time that we've been filming the three films. So Todd, he starts out, he's kind of going along, he's with Lillian, is kind of dragging him along, is pushing him to do adventurous things. He's not super adventurous. because he's unsure about himself. He doesn't think that he can do the things that the council, that Lillian, that Xander's expecting from him. You know, so by the end though, he feels confident enough. He doesn't have everything figured out yet, but he has enough confidence in himself and enough faith that he can figure it out because of the struggles that that he's overcome,
right.
And survived. That he can go off on his own, leave the council, and train a new generation of Ghost Sight that can hopefully, you know, learn from his mistakes and do bigger and even better things than he did. Which, you know, for myself, that's kind of where I'm going, because, like, you know, 3 years ago when we started filming this, I didn't really know where I wanted to be. But since then I've started going back to school. I'm, you know, making career plans. I'm making life choices and plans. So I'm coming at the same time that Todd's coming into his own. I feel like I'm starting to come into my own as well. So I think it was. I really owe Ethan a lot of gratitude for that, because it's you know, helpful. Like it's been a good. I've been going along this path with Todd all along. That's
really cool.
Yeah.
And I want to applaud you for your portrayal of Todd, because I feel like, especially watching all of them through tonight, you can kind of see that progression within Todd and also within you. So I think that's really awesome.
Thank you. And Lillian, like, she's just always sassy, always great. And I think that you're totally right. She's gonna get out of that basement.
I think she is.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Catch you in the comics.